Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2018 Toyota Mirai. In front, below, and behind me is a hydrogen fuel cell system paired to an electric motor as well as a 1-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Mirai for plenty of reasons, but the main fact is that this is a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. And we'll be talking a lot about that in a quick second, but back home where I'm from in Illinois, we never got these cars, and we still to this day, 2022, don't get hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. They're pretty exclusive to the Southern California area, as well as other very small markets, and so I'm excited to be driving something that I can't normally get at home. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping worldwide. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form. And you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that hydrogen fuel cell system. Without getting into the nitty-gritty of how everything works, basically you fill this car up with hydrogen gas, it mixes with oxygen and produces an electrical charge that powers the single electric motor. It makes about 152 horsepower and it drives the front wheels. You get about 250 to 300 miles per tank, depending of course on how you drive and things like that, which isn't too bad. Now it takes 4 kilograms of hydrogen to fill the tank, which is good for that 250 to 300 miles. And hydrogen right now at the time of making this video is about $12 per kilogram. So you're looking at about $50 to fill the tank to go 250 to 300 miles. However, most buyers, when you purchase a Mirai from Toyota, they actually give you a $15,000 fuel credit or 3 years worth of fuel on the house, which is really, really fantastic. Also in Southern California, some hydrogen-powered vehicles do get free tolls. This vehicle actually doesn't pay anything on the toll roads, which is fantastic, and so it already starts paying for itself. Like I said, 1-speed automatic, and it is front-wheel drive. And so what is the driving experience like? What is driving something fuel cell powered, hydrogen powered, something I've only read about in books and seen in movies? I'm now behind the wheel of one. Well, it drives like an EV. It drives like an electric car because really the powertrain is electric. It's just a different way of generating electricity. Instead of plugging the car in, you fill it with hydrogen, but it still powers an electric motor, so it still drives like an electric car. Definitely doesn't make the power and torque of an electric car. You know, even the Nissan Leaf, I spun the tires of when I floored it. You don't really get that here in the Mirai, but that's okay. We'll talk about my true thoughts and feelings on a hydrogen-powered vehicle towards the end of the video in the final thoughts segment. But with that quick explanation of the drivetrain out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, directly in front of me, I don't actually have anything. However, off to the right, I do have Prius-style gauges. Off to the left, I have my fuel, as well as what mode I'm in, outside temperature, speed, odometer, all of those goodies. Then, of course, I do have an eco screen. So this is showing me how economically I'm driving, my fuel reserves, my score. They also do this with the Prius and a lot of other hybrid products. It gives you an eco score to see how well you are driving. Very, very cool and interesting for the Mirai. Then I'm what gear I'm in, my clock, and other lights and sensors. On the steering wheel on the left, I do have my volume, skip track, trip, and phone options. And on the right, I have my selectors for that center screen up in the middle that we just talked about, as well as lane keep assist and pre-collision warning. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel is okay. However, I do have some issues with some wrinkling and cracking. This vehicle is only 4 years old at this point, so it's a little disheartening to see, a little bit outside of what I typically deal with when it comes to Toyotas. However, this is also a Southern California car where the sun is not nice and heat plays a huge factor, so keep that in mind. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, and up above that it does say Mirai, which is really, really cool. But then I have my auto headlight buttons and my H2O button. So the H2O button is super, super cool because this dumps the water produced by the hydrogen and oxygen mixing. That's the only byproduct of this car is water. It just produces water. That's the only thing it emits. So I have this footage of a Mirai I saw on the highway the other day because I'd never seen one before, and you could see the water actually dribbling out. That is the only emission from this vehicle, and I love that. Then I also, of course, have gauge dimmer switch and a dead switch. Then on the door, I do have my power folding mirrors as well as my power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. This all feels very standard Toyota, and I like the feeling of it. Moving into the center, again, more standard Toyota. I get a little Toyota infotainment system. This is pretty much the same as any infotainment system you'll find in the Prius, Corolla, Tundra. I mean, pretty much every Toyota product is virtually the same. I will show you the backup camera here in case you are curious of what that looks like in a Mirai, but I don't get any cool or crazy apps here in the Mirai. I wish I would have gotten something because this car is so special, it being a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. So I would have liked to have seen something, but that's not really Toyota's forte, so that's okay by me. Down below that, we do have 2 climate control vents, and then we have this very nice center stack. Off to the left, I do have my park and shifter. This is the same shifter you'll find in the Prius, which I've grown to be okay with. At first, I didn't really like it all that much. It's funky and weird and different. However, it definitely does the job. Off to the right, I do have eco mode, power mode, and traction control off. If I really want to get rowdy with it here in the Mirai with my hydrogen fuel cell, I can absolutely do that. Then I do have the Mirai fuel cell badge, which I absolutely love. Being someone who's never been in a vehicle like this, I love feeling special. But then I have my climate control area, and this is very interesting and unlike any Toyota I've ever seen. It actually has its own little screen. I do get dual zone climate and regular traditional climate controls like fan speed and where to send it, but I get this little screen. It is not a touch screen, it's just a display screen. And again, this isn't from any parts bin part of Toyotas, at least in my findings. I haven't seen anything quite like this. It looks nice, it looks presentable, it looks very futuristic. So I like the overall look of the climate controls. It's just very interesting that they didn't give us cool and interesting infotainment, but they really went all out in terms of the climate controls. Interesting placement by Toyota. Then we do get our heated seats down at the bottom, heated steering wheel, and heated windshield wipers. Very, very nice features here in the Mirai in terms of heatedness. We're also in Southern California. This vehicle is only really sold in Southern California. I don't know how much use a heated steering wheel, heated windshield wipers, and heated seats will get in a climate that almost never sees snow at all. Very, very odd features to add in here. Then we do have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the first hydrogen car to get a big friggin' bottle test. And unfortunately it fails. Most Toyotas do, so it's not that out of the ordinary. However, I guess a little part of me was hoping that a fuel cell vehicle would pass, but alas, it does not. Then I do get a center console, of course, and now we got to talk about the seats. The seats are nice and comfortable. Like I said, they are heated and they are power seats, which are fantastic. Very, very useful and modern seats. Pretty much anything I would come to expect out of a nicer Toyota product, these seats have and incorporate. However, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2018 Toyota Mirai. And a couple of things to note back here. First of all, knee room good, headroom good. It is a decently sized sedan, so you do get some of that comfort back here when it comes to actual space. And me being a big guy, I don't hide the fact I am a big guy and I'm not small. I actually sit comfortably back here. If I were to be picked up, driven around in this car, it wouldn't really be an issue. I do also have heated seats back here. Again, very few cars in the Midwest even come with rear heated seats, and yet out here in Southern California, a vehicle only sold in warmer climates, I get heated seats. Very interesting. I do also get a center console back here. I get my own vents, and I have a little pop-out panel with a 12-volt outlet and two 2.1 amp chargers. However, something interesting that the owner actually pointed out to me, something I've never considered, is that this is a 2+2 style vehicle, meaning 2 front seats 2 back seats. There is no center seat when it comes to the Mirai. Now that's fine. Honestly, to me, I rarely ever use the middle seat. However, this is a very, very efficient vehicle, and so a lot of people might be interested in buying one of these to use for Uber or Lyft or any other rideshare service. This makes it so you cannot do that. Uber and Lyft require 5 seats minimum. You can, of course, have SUVs with 7 or 8 or whatever, but they have a 5-seat minimum. Because of this, there is no center seat. This is only a 4-seater, and so you can't actually use this vehicle for Lyft or Uber or other rideshare services that have that 5-seat minimum. So very, very interesting to learn. But let's go hop around back. We'll talk about the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. See, there goes another one. All right, so we are around the back of the Toyota Mirai from 2018. So cool to see it say fuel cell. And as you can see, I dumped a little bit of H2O there, my bad. But I do have a trunk release button here. It does pop the trunk, and then you can just come and just gracefully pull it up. And this is the trunk of the Mirai. First of all, I love this floor mat. And it is decently wide, however, it's not very deep. That is, of course, because of the hydrogen fuel cell system, the tank, and things like that. I can pull this up, and that is my battery, and over here is just flat. I get this little tie down if I wanted to tie something small down. This is a downside of the Mirai. Of course, it does have less trunk space than a traditional vehicle. However, you'd find the same in a compressed natural gas vehicle like the Chevy Cavalier that I did. That was a compressed natural gas Chevy Cavalier. It had way, way less trunk space. So that is to be expected with a new technology vehicle and something with tanks like that, but a very, very small downside for something so cool. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and honestly, I think they redesigned the new Prius to kind of look like this vehicle. It's hard to tell them apart from a distance. I'm sure I've seen more of these, but just thought that they were Priuses or Corollas or something like that. It's not that out there in terms of styling. However, if you do look at the rear taillights, that is sort of a dead giveaway. And you have these great fuel cell badges on it, which just remind you that this is something different. This is something unique and something super, super cool. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle? Well, the long and short of it is the fact that this, I believe, truly should be the future. In a perfect world, I think this is a better idea than true electric cars. And let me explain why. First of all, there are safety concerns when it comes to hydrogen. Everyone knows the hydrogen bomb. It's explosive. Hydrogen gas is very volatile. However, let me raise you some counterpoints. So is gasoline. Gasoline is pretty volatile. And of the 2 hydrogen tanks that this vehicle has, they are both reinforced with carbon fiber, and they have sensors in them. If there is any type of pressure leak, the system will basically dissipate all of the hydrogen on board in a very quick and safe manner. So if you do somehow puncture your tank, yes, you will be out of fuel. Yes, you will have to pull over, but the Mirai will do its best to do it in the most safe manner. And with anything, things get safer and safer as time goes on, so safety doesn't really bother me. Now, another issue is the availability. There are only a handful of hydrogen stations around. There's more than a handful, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to gas stations, there's almost none. Here in Southern California, very easy to find hydrogen, but across the US, it's hard. And I think the appeal of electric cars is that everyone has an outlet in their house. Well, not everyone has access to hydrogen. So there's definitely an infrastructure issue as well for the hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. However, if everyone drove hydrogen, I think fuel stations could stay in business. They would just have to redesign their pumps and add bigger, stronger tanks for the hydrogen gas. And we wouldn't be stressing out our power grid as much as we already are with how many appliances and electric vehicles we have. You have to remember, most of America's grid system for electricity in our homes was designed, built, and implemented in the 1960s. Before there were personal computers, before there was Wi-Fi, before everyone was charging all of their devices simultaneously. So add other technology stress to electric car stress on our electric grid, I don't know how long we can do it for. So that is a big perk of going hydrogen. With anything, technology is going to get better. If you don't like the 250 to 300 miles of range, wait a little longer. I'm sure they will make it more efficient. I'm sure that technology will progress to give you better and better mileage. Look at gasoline-powered cars, look at electric cars. The range just keeps getting pushed, and I'm sure the same will happen here. But to me, from a reviewer's perspective, without getting into politics, without getting into the true mechanics of the technology, I think that this is a really, really smart future moving forward. Is this the future we're going to experience? I don't know, but I sure would like it to be. It drives like a normal car. It operates like a normal car. The only real downside of this car is the little bit less trunk space and the rear seats you can't do Uber with. But really, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Daryl for letting me take out his hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. I actually rented this vehicle from Daryl. I had some extra time this morning, so I wanted to rent a hydrogen fuel cell car since we don't have them back home. And Daryl has been absolutely awesome to work with. If you're in the Southern California area, you can definitely rent this Mirai and find out for yourself what it's like to drive a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. I highly recommend renting from Daryl. I will leave a link to this car to rent on Turo in the description below. If I can do that, I think I can just link to a car. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but I'll try my best. If not, just go to Southern California, look up Mirai, and you'll find Daryl's 2018. I can't recommend him enough. He's been fantastic to work with, very knowledgeable, very kind, and the car has been very, very clean. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.